Hi, it's T with Teaquilts, and we are here doing our live broadcast on Wednesday. And if you are not a subscriber, I'm still getting information on how to be notified when I go live. If you subscribe to my channel and then click the bell icon, it will send you notifications for whenever I upload a video as well as when I go live. So I am trying to get the chat up on my iPad. Seems like it's not on, so I'm just waiting for some viewers. Welcome, everybody. I'm kind of last minute running into my room. I don't know why my iPad is not on. Got a completely blank screen. So I don't know if it completely died or what. And I just had it on the charger, so I know it has power. So let me switch to my phone, see if I can get it to work, because I can't see a chat box on this screen. So it's like technology is something else. It's always something. My channel. Okay. So I got the chat box up. Let's go to the top. We have Soul Love. She says, "Hi T, welcome back. Thank you so much." Diane's here. She says, "Good evening." Susan says, "Hello from Cincinnati." Liz says, "Hi T." Darlene says, "Greetings from Northern Virginia." Kaylin says, "Hi T, hope you had a great trip. Going to hand stitch some binding tonight and enjoy the show." Great. I like multitasking. Diane 57M says, "Hi T." Tiffany says, "Hello from Massachusetts." Hi Tiffany, welcome to the chat. Patricia says, "Hey T, love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all too." I think I skipped somebody. Gail is here. Hi Gail. Got Linda. She says, "Hey T and everyone." Linda says, "Haha, make sure, let me make sure the charger is plugged in." Been there, done that. I did charge it, and it had like 40% on it before I even started. So yeah, it's pretty strange. I clicked it, and it had this little very like half-inch square of the previous screen. So I'm wondering if it just completely died, but I'll check it out later. But thank you. Um, Lauren says hi. Hi, Lauren. Got Darlene. She says press and hold the reset button. I'll deal with that later. Liz says hello, everyone. Got Sarah. She says, "Hey T, thank you for your prayers. I'm feeling much better." Sarah from Florence, Alabama. I'm glad you're doing better, Sarah. Got Mila says hello. The Quilting Marine says, "Welcome back, T. How was it?" I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And I want to thank you. I just had someone comment right before I went live on one of my videos that you sent them to my channel. So I appreciate that as well. So thank you so much. Have Bonita, she's here. She says, "Hi, Miss T." Hi, Bonita. I do want to talk a little bit about your question that you asked me, Bonita. Got Penny from Colorado. She says, "I enjoy your videos. Thank you so much for watching and for joining us live." Got Miss J.A. Coleman. "Good evening, everyone." Hi, how are you? Miss J.A. Coleman. She does knitting, and I don't know if she does crochet, but I know she does knitting. Diane 57 says, "The Quilting Marine is here." June says, "Hi." Hello, June. How are you doing tonight? And Bonita was asking, will I be able to talk about the stitch in the ditch alternative? Yes, I will. Letitia is here. She says, hi, T. Finally got to tune in. Love all your info. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us live. Quilting Marina saying hi to everybody. And Trisha is saying hi, T, and all. So welcome everybody to my chat. I have 43 viewers in the room, so I appreciate you all coming. I do have a few housekeeping things. Number one is I will be in Paducah, Kentucky for the AQS quilt show on Friday. So if you see me Friday, stop and say hello. I did attend the International Quilt Festival last week in Chicago area. It was in Rosemont, Illinois. And I do have a lot of footage on that, but I am having to, it's a lot of video, so that's why I'm giving you a sneak peek of the haul now, because I'm behind in video so bad, it's ridiculous. I did upload a couple of videos this week, maybe 3. I think I uploaded a video Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I have 2 more that I just edited, but they're paper crafting videos, so I'm just trying to get caught up. And then I'll get to the quilt festival video, but I did want to show you what I bought. I have a few questions. I have a list of things that people have been asking me, and I just want to address those. I got to cut the volume off on my phone because I don't normally use my phone. Let me do that. And so I've been writing them down. So if you've got requests for videos and or subject areas for our live views, just let me know. You can let me know in the live chats. I try to collect them all. So if yours is not on this list I'm about to read, then re-put it in the chat box. And or the chat box sometimes scrolls very fast for me, so I'm missing a lot of stuff. And now I'm actually working on a even smaller screen today, working with this phone. So it's always best to leave it on a video that's already been live, because YouTube would normally send me a notification on that. So what I have on the list so far, and I'm just going to tell you the status of that, is someone's wanting to know about bindings. I do have a video already uploaded that shows you how to do a binding all by machine, and it even tells you how to add a hanging sleeve. So what I will do is I will just update another video where I do the regular bindings for quilts that are going to be into a show where you're stitching down by machine and then hand sewing to that. So I will do a second binding video, but I did have one up, and I'll try to remember to link it to this video as well. Number 2, I had a question about stencil spray. They saw it when I did my room haul, asked me if I had a chance to use it. I have not had a chance to use the stencil spray, but I will at some point put a test piece on my Longhorn machine, and I will test out the stencil spray. I actually received that as a gift. It's not something that I would normally buy. So that is a good video for me as well, because I need to know if I want to use it in the future. Next question was dealing with pressing seams, and this came from Anita and is part of her question. She started out asking about when you're making blocks, how do you determine when you're going to press your seams open and or when you press your seams to the side. If I'm making 4-patch or 9-patch blocks, I will go ahead and press my seam toward the dark fabric, because most of those are made with a light dark configuration. So that's easy for you to press your seams in one direction. And then what I tend to do is in the middle of those, like especially like for any 4-patch block, this is really a 4-patch block. And then I would do that little technique in the middle where I will spin the seam so that they're all going around in the back of the block as well, even though I have pressed all of my seams. And I'm hoping you can hear me, because I know I have difficulty when I put stuff in front of the camera. The volume must be up there as well, because it takes the volume away. But yeah, so that's what I do. I mostly, if I'm strip piecing and or if it's a block that's not going to abut against another block, like I wouldn't put this block up to another block like this, because when I got into these corners, things may not nest right. But if you spin the seams, then they all will nest right. Sometimes to avoid having to determine whether or not to press a block open or not, I will go ahead and press all of my seams open. And I do this when I'm not sure exactly how I am going to put a particular block together. Now, this block here, I do know how it's going to go together. It's going to have sashing that's also made 2-inch finished squares. So they're going to be going right up next to each other. So I opted to press all of my seams open. And what you can't see on screen is that you have your seams pressed open. Everything is nice and flat. Even when the triangles meet into a corner, like over here, it's still very smooth. Up here, when this meets, I can actually feel the big lump of the fabric that's going up from all of that fabric being pressed up. I am one of those people that prefer to have my seams pressed open. It does take a lot more time, but then I will opt to press my seams to one side when I'm dealing with like 4 patches or 9 patches or something. Then Bonita's question got a little more complicated because now she's ready to quilt and want to know if she's quilting, is it okay for her to stitch and stitch if her seams are pressed to the sides and or if her seams have been pressed open? Now, this is my opinion. This, again, is my channel, so these are my opinions. I've been quilting since 1994, and all of these things have been working just fine for me. It's okay to stitch in a ditch when you have pressed your seams to the sides. And that is something like what we have here. You can stitch right in a ditch and quilt this as you go. Now, if you have something where your seams have been pressed open, it is believed that if you are stitching in this ditch where the seams are pressed open, that's where your piecing is from making your block. And if you're quilting right on top of that and the needle hit those seams, it is believed that it can break your piecing seam. So if I press my seams open, I do not normally stitch in the bit. I'll stitch 1/4 of an inch away, or I'll also use something that I call the serpentine stitch, which is the alternative that I was telling Bonita about. And this is my notes paper. I don't want to lose it, so I'm going to put it on my sewing machine. So here, I just sometimes would do like some test fabrics, and my other one was so busy that I had to make another one for today. But when you normally stitch up here, and I'm hoping that the camera can pick this up, my top row of stitching is just a straight stitch. And I did not make any adjustments. And if you don't make any adjustments, you're also stitching through 2 pieces of fabric now with a batting. So you need to enlarge your stitch length. On the top row, I have a 2.0 stitch length. On the second row of stitching, I have increased the stitch length, and I am now stitching with a 3.0 stitch length. So that's something that you would be using for quilting in the ditch. Now, me, I don't like stitching in the ditch because if you are stitching in the ditch and then you come out just a little bit, it's going to be very obvious when you came out of the ditch. They're not going to care about the 99 times that you were in the ditch. They're going to care about the one time that you were out of the ditch. So I like to use what's on a lot of machines nowadays. It's called the Serpentine stitch. And on my Baby Lock Elagio, which is this machine, it's a basic utility stitch. And when you pull it up, it comes up with the width 5.0 and a length of 1.0. And this is exactly how it stitches out. What I like to do with that stitch is I like to elongate that stitch. And then now, instead of stitching in the stitch, I'm using this bottom row where I have the stitch length set at 2.5. And I'm stitching that across my ditch. So I'm not actually in the ditch, but I'm using my ditch lines as my reference points. And what I didn't have time to do, go into my storage at the quilt that I've done a whole bed quilt that I actually show in my scrap quilts lecture where I have used this stitch on an entire quilt that I quilted on my regular standard sewing machine. Now, the nice thing about the Serpentine stitch is I can watch TV. I don't have to really pay attention because I'm not stitching in a ditch. I've got an area now instead of stitching in the ditch. But if you want to stitch in a ditch, then you just need to be very careful when you're actually doing so. Let me go back to the phone and get some of the people who have recently signed in. So, Diane was saying that Margaret Lewin was going to be there. I'm assuming she's talking about Paducah. Patricia saying T. I think she's asking what is the machine next to the right side of me. So I'm not sure because this is my right. So if you're talking about this machine, this is a Baby Lock Elagio. All of my machines are no longer being sold as new, but you might can find them used. And then over here, I have the Baby Lock Elissimo, the original Baby Lock Elissimo. I think I did like 2 upgrades for it. I think they had a total of 4. Some of the upgrades I didn't think I would use, so I did not purchase those. The Quilted Marine saying that he has to get to a quilt fair. Yes, you do. They are so much fun. I had so much fun in Chicago that it was just ridiculous. I had never attended a show on the level that I did for Chicago, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I just want to make sure I give everybody their shout outs. Quilted Marine says Darth Vader pressed to the dark side, Luke. Um, Diane said Houston Quilt Show is in November. I do have, I'm waiting on someone to get back to me and said maybe in May to see if we can get a place to stay. And if I can get a place to stay, I will most definitely come to Houston. Quilted Marine says nice blocks. Thank you very much. These are some of my blocks that I have done videos on. Well, that red and black block was the one that I did a video on. I've since put it somewhere over here. Just here I did a video on. I can't even remember the name of the block. Forgot the name. I just, when I do videos like the live stuff, I'm just pulling stuff out of my supply to use as examples. Diane says, do you use a strip stick when pressing seams open? Yes, I do, Diane. I do use a strip stick to press my seams open. And I see in the comments that I've got people asking, what is the strip stick? And I don't have any of it in my actual room here because I don't iron here. I actually press at my ironing board. So they're either all packed up in my workshop when I'm teaching. I got a bag that I just keep some in there so the class can use them. But I don't have any in the room. But it's actually a stick that you can use to either press your seams open and or you can also use it to press your seams to one side. It will, like when you're doing strip sets and you're pressing your seams and they start to put that little bow in it, it prevents the bow from happening. I probably have used it in some of my other videos, so you can search strip stick in my videos and it'll pull up just the video that have the strip stick in it, and I actually have a demo in there. Diane says she only lives an hour away from Houston. I think I will be doing that from now on. The quilt I'm working on is full of problems because of the pressing to one side. And like I said, when you start pressing seams, it's going to take you about twice as long to finish that quilt if you got to press every seam open. But for me, it's worth it because when I get to matching points and when I get to quilting, it's much smoother. And believe it or not, long arms cannot sew over very bulky seams. It will hit that seam and then bounce back off because it doesn't want to go over that either. And I have been using my spoon foot, that part of the Gamma accessory pack, and I've been using it a lot, and it does help to get over bulkier areas, but I just don't feel comfortable because I may knock my machine out of timing. Patricia's asking, where did I get the wood iron? You can just search a wooden iron in quilting, and it should give you a lot of options. I get that question a lot, so it's out there. You just need to search it. You can buy it probably from your local quilt shops. Probably Joann's have them. There are so many places that have it. And Diane is saying it's she's describing it's a wood stick that is flat on one side and curved on the other, covered with batting and canvas, and it comes in different lengths. And that's right, they come in, I think, like a 8-inch or 12-inch, 18-inch, 22-inch, and then a 42-inch. I actually like the 22-inch the best. Eric's here. He's saying hello. HC is here. And Eric is saying thank you for the link for the ruler rack. You are more than welcome. And Bonita is saying that she may try the serpentine stitch, and she's thanking me for that. You're also very welcome. Laura's here. Hi, Laura. She says she's glad that I taught you live. Shaquita is here. Susan says she loves my videos. Erica's here. She's saying she's a little late. Hi, Erica. She also has a quilting channel. And the Quilting Marine was asking, can people test drive the long arm machines at the quilting shows? Yes, they can. And that's the whole purpose. If you're actually going to buy a long arm machine, that is my first recommendation. I actually have a video up about how things to consider when purchasing a long arm machine. So that was one of the things that I recommended, is that you go to one of your big national shows, because they will have every long arm manufacturer in the building trying to sell their product. And sometimes they will have show specials as well. Trisha says, make sure you test drive the Innova. She loves hers. All righty. So now we're just going to go into what I got on my IQF experience. Now, this time I went to the show. I normally go to day shows that I can drive to in a day and come back home in a day. But because IQF was a 5-hour drive away from me, I couldn't do that. So I have never been to that show, and I haven't heard of anyone in the St. Louis area actually attending IQF, which is International Quilt Festival. So I have a friend that bends at all of the shows. That's with Iowa Star Quilts, and I've talked about her in some of my other live videos. I talked about her pattern that I was working on, which is Scrapplerama. And so she told me that if I came up, that she would make sure that I had a place to stay, and she would get me into the show. So that's how I actually went in under Iowa Star Quilt. I got a little drop of water from the rain when we got caught in the rain, so I got a little boo-boo here. But she actually got me into the show with the vendor pass. Now, I intended to fully help her. She also has her husband. They've been doing these shows for so many years that they needed very little help from me. I basically just was moving a few containers into place, and they were getting everything set up. So I actually got to the show Wednesday afternoon, say about 2:30. They started opening the doors for them to install earlier that day. So I got to see behind the scenes before other public quilters were allowed into the building. So that was the first thing that was new for me to see. And it's just awesome how people can put these booths up so fast and efficient because they're so used to doing it. And it was just amazing. So I basically was in her and her husband do the vending. So I was in their booth most of the time. So the show opened on Thursday. I did a lot of videotaping and I'll be making a video on that, of course. And then on Friday, I came back in and I also did some more videotaping because the show was way bigger than what I thought it was going to be. It's a very nice show. So if you've never been to IQF, I highly recommend it as a show you add to your list. It had a lot of modern quilts. It still had a lot of everyday quilts as well. And the workmanship was just awesome. It wasn't the type of quilts where they were so far-fetched that you could never do any of them, but the quilts that were in the show were very well made. There were very few quilts that were just okay. Most of the quilts were outstanding. The other thing about the show is that they have a lot of different exhibits. So a lot of the quilts were not juried into the show, but they were part of an exhibit, and I really enjoyed that. They had quilts made from posters, architecture quilts. I can't even begin to remember portrait quilts. So they had different styles of exhibit quilts that were really nice as well. Even had a section that was the quilted clothing. So yeah, I really enjoyed the show. So if you've never been to IQF, it is definitely one that I recommend you add to your list. So I was supposed to go to IQF starting on Thursday, but then I had to change it because I decided I wanted to go to a class, and the class actually started at 8 a.m. And there was no way I was going to leave my house by 2:30 a.m. so I could get there, register for the class, and get in the class. So on top of that, I had to extend my stay with my friend's additional night already. And then my friend took me Friday afternoon. She had another friend that she didn't realize was there vending by herself, which is Fabric Peak. And I went to her booth to go buy fabric because I told her I didn't see a whole lot of what I was looking for. And so she took me over to her booth. And as I was trying to check out, all of a sudden her booth just got really crowded with a lot of people. So I started to help her cut. And I ended up staying. I was going to leave on Friday afternoon about 3 and come back home, but I ended up staying until the show closed at 6. And then at the end of the evening, she asked me if I was going home because she could use my help on Saturday as well. So I ended up staying another night. So I stayed 2 additional nights than what I intended to do up front and help her cut. So I actually worked with her from 10 a.m. to about 2:30 is when I actually left the actual quilt show. I think I got on the road back home about 4 p.m. But yeah, so I had a great time in Chicago, and I'm just going to go over some of the things that I got. When you sign up, when you go, they actually give you a program. It's very nice. It tells you where all the booths are. Of course, it even talks about, it has some of the advertisements for some of the booths that are also there. So they bought advertisements in it, but basically it's just showing where the booths are. And I'm going over things that I got for free, except that I did buy an IQS pen. And when I bought the show pen, which I'm sure isn't going to show up on this screen, but that's the show pen. And then they also gave me a pen for free. So this is the pen that they gave for free. And I ended up purchasing one of the pop sockets. And that's another thing. And this is the actual pop socket. I've already opened the packaging, but I didn't take it out. So I thought those were good souvenirs. I tend to get a pen at every place I go to for the first time. Someday I'm going to do something with them, but I haven't yet. So, and thinking of the telephone, my phone, I'm leaving town Wednesday, and my telephone, my cell phone decides to die on me on Tuesday. And I had been having problems with it, but I was like, okay, we're just going to get a new phone and be done with it. So while I was walking around, I can't remember who gave me the Alpha cutter that you can use to cut your packaging open. And I do like that the blade retracts right back in, that it doesn't stay out or it doesn't have a lock, because you're basically just using it to store your packaging. A tip for when you're having difficulties with products and the people actually go to quilt shows. Nobody wants to hear a sob story at a quilt show about something being broke and something that they selling you, especially if it's costing over $100. I purchased the Cheryl Lynn design wall, and I purchased it eons ago. And I was literally asking them if they had any extra products that they could sell, like any of the accessories. You can buy all of the accessories online, but I, if I was going to the show, that it would save me my shipping costs. So I asked them if they had hoarding there for the Cheryl Lynn design wall. They said, yes, we do. And so I said, can you show me how you fix this? And he did that. And then he handed me this, and he gave it to me. And I go, how much do I owe you? And he says, nothing, because your product malfunctioned. Now, I had my this string that was in my original unit since the inception of the Cheryl Lynn design wall. I actually bought it in Paducah when they first brought them out. So it's years old. But I thought that was pretty nice. They just gave me the part at the show. Let me just check the phone because I can't see, because I don't have the iPad. Sharon is saying she's hoping to go to Grand Rapids Quilt Show in August, as long as my back is better. Quilting Marine says that program book looks better than Major League Baseball program. HC is asking, have I sorted and put away all of my gifted quilting fabric? No, because some of that is going to be gifts for other people. So I haven't decided how much I need for gifts and how much I want to keep yet. So that's still in the box. And the Quilting Marine says that he's folding as he's watching. Okay, let's make sure. So another thing, sometimes when you're walking around the show, you'll have people handing out various free things trying to get you into their booth. So this bag was given to me as well. I did not even step into the booth. It's for Symbols Quilt Shop in Lockport, Illinois. So I like using recycled bags. I like these bags when I go to shop at Aldi's or even other grocery stores that do have bags, just to save on the plastic going into the landfill. I also love to take these bags when I shop at Sam's. So I keep all bags that are given to me. Another bag that was given to me, and I can't even remember the name of the company. I'm just going to assume that it's called Rainbow, but it's a Korean textile company, and they were there basically trying to work with people that want to design their own fabrics. But they also gave out bags, and this fabric here is actually a canvas style bag. It's thick. It's not a regular cotton, but they did have fabric that was printed in this. And all they had in their display was just raw cotton in a fish tank. It was so funny, and people were trying to figure out what it was they were selling. And then another thing about it was they spoke very little English, so it was pretty interesting. The other thing is Banyan Batik, which is produced by Northcott. Uh-oh, my machine moved. Okay. Okay, I'm looking perplexed because my screen disappeared. There it is. and I couldn't find it. I thought the whole chat had ended. So I'm moving my mouse over there now. So it's by Northcote Designs. And what they had was a spinner, and they were just trying to get people to sign up for their mailing list. And so they had a spinner. You could get charm pack. You could get just one square. You could get 2.5-inch square pack. So they have various different things. I actually won one of their fat quarters. So that's what this is. And then I thought it was pretty interesting that they had a book that they were catering more to the quilt shops. And I just clicked it to show you all. And it's interesting because it shows you exactly how they relate stuff back to quilt shops so that they can make kits. So I'm just showing you any page in here. So these two are patterns that you can make kits for. And then in the back of the book, it tells the quilt shop how many bolts of each fabric they will need to this kit. Now the patterns that you'll need, you'll have to buy those separately as well. And you can buy them in groupings of 3 patterns. So I thought that was interesting, a lot of information. And I actually got to see a lot of the quilts that are on the Northcote site as well. So that was more free stuff. And I think that's it. I did work for the lady in Fabrique. And so she had a license plate. So I am planning one day to do a row by row. So I thought that I would get her license plate. Actually, I cut for her, so I didn't even pay for these fabrics. And she also gave me the Mortelli left-handed rotary blade because the one she was using was right-handed. So she actually gave me this one Saturday as I was leaving. So I thought that was really sweet of her to those as well. Fabrique is a shop that specializes in African, Japanese, and Australian prints, but she does have some filler prints and she has some batik. So I decided I went in there because let me start with the ones I was really interested in. I went in because I was looking for a pretty main fabric in an African print to use in a quilt. I want to make an African coin quilt. And so I wanted this to be in my opposite row. I wanted some dominating print. And I don't even know if the camera is picking up beauty in this quilt fabrics or not, but this fabric is gorgeous. So I actually went in to buy 3 yards of this, and then it has a coordinating stripe. And I got 2 yards of it. So this is the stripe. So I don't know how I'm going to use them yet. And then it got busy, so I started cutting. So I actually, as people were bringing me fabric up, I started cutting a little bit here and there for me. But I didn't go crazy because I'm like, you don't need everything. But I actually got this, and it also goes with these prints as well. So all 3 of these prints go together. There's a little blue over in this print that you can see. So these prints were $10.95 a yard. I'm just going to toss stuff on the floor for right now. And then as people were checking out and cutting, you know, when you have a bolt up, you really don't see a lot when you're looking at just the sides of the bolts, 2 inches or so. Then as you start cutting for people, you start seeing a lot more of the pattern. And just think of this pattern being reversed back on the other side, these large circles and what is it called? Ovals. It's been a long day. But yeah, so I actually cut this piece for me. And it's like it feels like more mud cloth like, but it's still 100% cotton. And then someone else came up and had it in a different colorway. So I actually got it in this colorway as well. Okay, so now I'm getting this big bag here. And I'll do the bag last because the item that it goes with is in the bottom of the bag, of course. So one of the things that I did was I wanted to take a long arm class. So that's why I wanted to get there Thursday by 8 a.m. They had some paperwork for Superior, no coupons, just buying stuff. And then I took a class with Laura. I don't even know how you say her name. Hepra. Show you the pad. And then we were supposed to stitch 5 designs that she had attached here. This is just one. And we didn't get to stitch the 5 designs. We only got to stitch 2 of them. In addition to paying for the class, which cost $119, and that included the class fee, supply fee, and then we also got a disciplinary marking pen, which is in my luggage still. I haven't unpacked yet. And it had purple on one end and the blue on the other end. And then this is the class sample that we stitched. So I don't know how much of this is going to show up on screen. So this is one of the blocks that I did. And then here is another area that I did. And we were working on things you can put in borders. So in her class, I've been looking to buy arc rulers. So this was actually the first thing that I bought. I actually spent $120 on arc rulers. Don't know if they would be cheaper anywhere else, but I've wanted them all to be from the same brand. So I'm just taking off the ribbon that's holding them together. But it's actually different sizes of the arcs. I'm not sure if this is going to really show up. So we've got this one that's called BFF, Best Friend Forever. And then this is an 8-inch arc. This is a 10-inch arc. This is 12. Then 15. And then a 20 arc. And so I'm looking forward to learning how to use these on my machine. And I will definitely be doing some videos on those. So next bag is from Iowa Star. Her booth, that's my friend's booth that I was there with. Her booth actually specializes in neutrals. And I bought a lot of fabric from her when she came to my guild last July. So I didn't need a whole lot, but I did buy one fat quarter here. I'm not sure if it's showing up with the highlight. And then I bought 2 yards of this print. I have no idea if this print is showing. So that was Iowa Star. And June Taylor now has kits out, and it has a quilt as you go technique. And it's for, this one is for a pothole, no, mug rugs. And what was nice about this one was that at the show, the shop that was selling these had the fabric included as well for the $10. So you can make these little mug rugs here with the sentimental quote on it or inspirational quote. And they had different kinds you could buy, but I got inspirational. And then I also purchased the casserole caddy. I've been wanting to make one of these. I know I can just make it without this, but I thought if I make this, spend some money, maybe I will finish it like soon. We'll see. And then you all have heard of Clover having the bias tape makers. I actually bought the Sasher collection. This lady was in from Australia. She was selling this. Now this whole kit cost $50, but it was pretty easy to make the little strips that you need, and I'm really interested in using the very small ones for when I'm making binds, but you can also use the larger ones for folding your binding. I purchased one template from, and I've had it in this bag folded up, so I hope it comes back out good. But one just stencil from the Quilter's Rule. I find sometimes I'm having difficulty with like marking from the centers out, and I do it with my regular rulers, but I thought if I could get something that's big that I can just mark the whole thing and I can do some custom quilting, that would be great. That one over there so we can unroll a little bit. That was $10. And it went up to a 15-inch block, I think. We're almost to the bottom. Before the young lady that I worked with gave me the rotary cutter, I had already purchased a 60mm Martelli rotary blade. And I'll tell you a story about it in a little bit, but I do have the 45mm blade. I have it in my back cutting area, so I have used these before. So I did get a 60mm blade in that as well. Now, Martelli, when I talked to them before, they told me that the rotary blades were $29.99 with 10% off as a special. But on my receipt, I noticed that I do not have the 10% off on the show special. So, yeah. I went to Ofa. Ofa has some new blades that are coming out, and I'm not sure if these are on the market yet. This guy, he sells a lot of Ofa products, and he's actually out of the St. Louis area, but he travels and do road shows. So they now have what's called the Endurance Blade. And so I bought a box of 3 because I have 3 60mm blades that's going to be placed around my work area. So I wanted to get that. So when the Martelli blade run out, I'm going to try that in there as well as in my Ofa cutters. His name is, let me see, I got some paperwork in here. Trying to get you a price. He had a special on buying the 3 endurance blades. And they're pretty expensive because they're supposed to last twice as long as a regular blade. And it's $44.09 with the tax for the 3 blades. And I purchased that from Ofa Deals DBA, which is Charlie's Easy Mat Cut. And he's, like I said, he's located out of the St. Louis area. Not sure if they have a website. I think this might be their website here, in case you're looking for that. And then I also got some information on how to care for your mats. He's the one that put out the information for how to wash your mats in the bathtub. And maybe someday in the future, I may do a video on that as well. I really didn't buy a whole lot of fabric because I really don't need it. But I did stop by a booth that had a lot of fabrics that were $5 per yard. I saw this batik fabric up there. Name of the shop is called Teaquilts, Tye quilts and s.com. And they just had this one piece that I bought 5 yards of, or 4 yards of, because I spent $20. So this is a batik print, and I thought that it could be nice as a background. I sometimes find I have a difficult time finding batiks that can be used as a background in a project. So that's the only reason I purchased this. They had lots of other pretty fabrics on the sale table, but I put my blinders on. Now, in this bag, this is the last bag. I was really surprised that connecting threads was there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're also on the vendor list for Paducah. So they'll also be at the vendor list. And I didn't know I was going to get the bag. So the bag came with any price. What I did buy was they had, for $10 each, they had these color wheel solids by Connecting Threads, and it has 15 2.5-inch strips. So this is a real colorful one, more of your dual tones. And then I also purchased one that was a pastel, so $10 each. Okay. And then they also had some other stuff in here. So listen up. If you need something from Connecting Threads, they had this little card saying thank you for stopping by. But they also had this card that had $5 off your next order of 25 plus. Enter promo code at checkout Chicago 18. So if you're ordering something from Connecting Threads, there is a code for you. And then they also gave us in the bag, all of this was already in the bag, catalog. And then the bag is a really nice size as well. So that is my haul. Oh, one other thing. I wasn't going to get this at first, and I haven't uploaded the video for paper crafting yet, but I ended up getting, since I worked in the shop and got paid, I thought that I would go ahead and treat myself to this Caterpillar Glow Ultra, and it's actually a light box. It also has a mat used to pet on as well. And I will do an unboxing or something on this or show it in another video because it is way too big to be messing around with right here. So that's it for my haul. Let me see if anything is going on in the comment section. Uh, got lots of comments in here. HC says she would go broke if she went to a quilt show. The Quilting Marine says, me too. But Eric's telling her that she would go broke having fun doing it. When I normally go, I'm going to quilt shows. One of the things that I do is that I put money aside for that so that I know that I'm staying within budget. I actually done very well because I didn't really buy a whole lot until Saturday when I was actually getting ready to leave. And then I went ahead and bought the light box and I had bought the rotary cutter right before the lady gave me the one that I was cutting with the whole entire time. So if she had given it to me earlier, I would have bought the rotary cutter. Erica says, we use the arc rulers on the long arm or domestic machine. She did have people in class that had the sit down long arm machines, and they were also going to use them on that, but I will be using them on my long arm machine. Eric says, some quilt shows make a special area for husbands to wait. Houston had one, and it had a pool table, TV, and recliners. That's true. And also, Missouri Star has a man cave for the guys that's got a pool table, vending machines, and everything in their television. So it's awesome. And Eric is saying that Mortelli did that to you too. They also did the same thing to me. Now, since he mentioned it, I was just telling you what happened to me, but I have determined that that's my last purchase from Mortelli. Show, since I was there a lot longer, they actually stand out in the aisles and they're like hollering at people, trying to get people to come into their booth. It was just a bit much for me. And the people that were around them, the booth people that were around them, was really upset about it because they felt like a bad vibe and that aisle didn't get as many people up and down it that it would normally get. So that's interesting. But yeah, they tell you one price and then you're busy and they're talking to you and they're trying to sell you something else and they're ringing you up and then I was trying to get out of there because when I bought it, it was right before I was getting ready to leave. And so I had to get back to this lady's booth because I really went to the restroom. So I was a little preoccupied. So it was part my fault too. But yeah, you don't quote a price and then don't give people the price. And she asked me if I wanted blades, and I said no. And I think because I didn't buy replacement blades, then my price changed without her telling me. So yeah, it's interesting. Duana is just coming in. She's saying hi. Hi, Duana. I only got a few more minutes live here. Sharon says she loves those jelly rolls. And that light box, I forgot to mention it. It was $150 for the light box. But like I said, I worked ladies' booth. So I didn't feel bad buying it because I actually worked for it for the weekend. And then it also has a $20 little glass thing that you can use that you can actually iron on top of. So I ordered that as well. And it was another 20 bucks. So it was 170. Erica says she loves that white piece. And Eric says, OMG, Caterpillar, you're going to love that. And my other scrapbooking haul, I went to the Keepsake Quilting Scrapbook Convention also because it's in Collinsville, Illinois, which is less than a half hour from my home. And I decided to go to there, and I actually bought the Caterpillar paper cutter, and that thing is wonderful. And that's the only reason that I really was into this light box. And I saw other people that were selling LED lights, but you got less for your money. You didn't get a cutting mat that went on top as well. So that's why I got the Caterpillar. I don't know who she is. They're talking about in the comment section with Debbie. And Sharon says she has a light board too. It's called a window. That's pretty cool, but you can't use it at night, Sharon. You have light box. It was a little 10-inch square light box, and it had a slight incline. And I realized when I was working with my portrait quilts that I needed a light box that was completely flat, and I needed it to be as big as could be, so I didn't have to keep moving the items around. So that's one of the reasons that I was looking to buy it. Um, I ain't gonna say your name, but somebody says Martelli sounds rude. And they are pushy salespeople, and they really are. They are trying to get people in there. Like when I went in, knowing I knew that I wanted to get a rotary cutter, and they of course was trying to sell me this $2,000 table, and I'm not interested in the $2,000 table. So they are a little pushy. So yeah, okay. So I think that somebody's wife being having to have a place to go like the man cave. But they do. When you go to quilt shows, there is so many things that are being sold. You can get hand cream, you can get orthopedic shoes or work shoes. You can get some clothing. You got people selling specialty scarves. They got regular patterns for people that do regular sewing. They had so much going on at the show that it was just overwhelming, and I was not expecting to have about 300 vendors at this show. So, and they had a lot of good vendors at this show. So it was very difficult to stay focused. And Bonita is asking what are the dimensions on the light box. I don't know if I put the card back in here. Let me see if I can find it on a card first. Probably not. Because the light box actually came in three different sizes. The largest size, and it's 17 by 24 inches. Or maybe it was two sizes at this company. Maybe the light box came in two sizes at this company. But you can look them up as well at caterpillar.com. So, or just Google Caterpillar because sell to, they're marketing to the paper crafting industry as well as the quilting industry. So I've got all my stuff now down on the floor. I've got to clean up. But yeah, and the Quilting Marine is saying 300 vendors is a lot. 300 vendors is nothing compared to Paducah, who always sells out of vendor spots. And also Houston has a very large vendor area as well. But 300 is a lot of vendors, and I had a great time. And I think the major long arm companies were there, like Juki, Gamble, Handy Quilter, um, there's another company I'm blocking, but you didn't have all of the little mom and pop or the small business people that make long arms. Houston will have every long arm that's on the industry vending at their show. Darlene says, yes, and she's saying not to mention the various quilting and sewing classes. Yes, they all have classes. Now, my interpretation of the class, this was my first time taking a class at a show, and I don't know if it's because I did take some classes also at the scrapbook convention, and the same thing happened to me. For some reason, they put too much, way more than what you can do in a particular class time. So if you're looking to actually get something done in those classes, it's not going to happen. You're basically going to be on a lot of notes and just pray that you remember exactly what they were doing and taking pictures, because you're not going to get a lot done in any of these classes, my experience. And the one is asking, which long arm would you suggest? I would suggest you do your homework, watch my video things to consider when purchasing a long arm. I actually bought a Gamble because it was right for me. That doesn't mean that it's right for everybody. So I would suggest you look that up. So yeah. So I think we are through the comments. I'll remind everybody to please like the video before you go. I don't see anything else spooling up through the comment section. Again, if you want me to, some subjects I can do live, and other subjects I will have to do like videos on. So I know some of you have been giving me suggestions on things to do live, but I think some of these videos would be better as a recorded video that I can edit and take, do pieces of, because like I got embellishments. There are so many different kinds of embellishments, and I can like tell you what those embellishments are, but wouldn't it be better if you could see those embellishments? So I think that I will try to do some recording on the embellishment. So if you think of something else, he said, Quilting Marine says a trunk show. Somebody else mentioned that doing a bed turning. My house is so little, I have no room to set that up, and I have so many quilts. I bet you I have 400 quilts in this house. So there is no way that I can do a trunk show on here. That's why I save those and do those when I actually go out to quilt guilds and do lectures. So contact your quilt guilds and tell them you want to have Teaquilts come. I bring at least 40 to 60 quilts to a show, depending on what the title of the show is. So that is it, everybody. I will see you in my next video next week. I have no idea what the subject is going to be yet, but we'll find out. And good night, everybody, and see you then. Bye-bye.